it has never been easy managing anything. Even in our homes, it's not easy managing our homes. If you have even just a wife and a kid, it is not easy managing it. And it was particularly instructive that you had someone who had been in government before. Of course, he was a minister under President Kufuor's administration, who ought to have known that even at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General, 2 ministries he served, he performed abysmally. And the evidences are there. It is very clear that as a Minister for Justice, we saw what happened when there were a lot of disastrous cases that border on his professionalism. If you remember the letter he wrote, it was Chacho against the president. You know, I mean, clearly this is a basic mistake. Even a law student wouldn't make this. Someone who was touted as the dawn of the legal system in this country. Yet he made those basic mistakes. And I remember when we raised issues, he said that, oh, his communicator said that he didn't write the letter, but he signed. So clearly, if granted that he never wrote the letter, so he didn't read before signing, or he read and never comprehended what he did. So his record, the verdict at the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General was a disaster, and everybody knows that he lost several cases. He even supervised. When he went to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we witnessed the fact that drug dealers were given diplomatic passports, which was very clear. Some of them were convicted, and it was reported they had diplomatic passports. And there were a lot of diplomatic passports which could not be accounted for. So he ought to have known. He ought to have known that managing even a ministry was difficult. But clearly, what he did, and I always, quote Cicero, that politics was a country idiot. And Cicero certainly could not have been wrong when he said in the several centuries ago that politics was a country idiot, that people focus on one thing without looking at the effects of others, of what they do. So maybe perhaps one would give him some credit because he was doing politics. The sad aspects of it is that in this country, when you speak English in a funny way, people tend to listen to you. When you try to slang, people tend to listen to you. When you come with three
you feel the accent of the president brought the people's interest? Those
things matter. I have been a student leader throughout my life, and I always say that I'm the longest serving student leader in this country, from SRC NOOCS to All Africa Students Union. If you observe the elections in our various campuses, many people tend to vote for those who speak very well. Either they try to desperately manage a slang, or those who look cute, like you, when you contest elections. People
the former president is a very good orator. I mean,
well, it is not just it's not just being an orator, but being a responsible orator. Juxtaposed the campaign President Mohammed did and the campaign he did. President Mohammed was not just focused on just winning an elections, but he was mindful of the promises he was going to make, and knowing very well that he will be held accountable for those promises. As a Muslim, and in the Quran, Allah is very clear that when two people enter into an agreement, or you make a promise to someone, Allah says that He is the witness of that agreement. So politicians should understand that when you stand on the political platform, you make promises, you should be mindful and be reminded that you account for it. And I remember when I was contesting elections, I was very careful the promises I make, and some of my campaign team were not happy. You need to also say things to convince people. I said, no. You see, there is a British politician, I've forgotten the name, who had written a thesis, and his position is that voters don't vote deliveries, they vote promises. That's what voters vote. They vote promises you make. If they are so appetizing, they'll go for it. They don't care what you have done. I mean, everybody in this country, one of the reasons why the NDC lost elections in 2016 was because of the allegations of corruption against the entirety of the NDC government, and specifically President
Mohammed had the opportunity to also have defended itself.
Well, we did. You see, that's why I'm saying that when you have the lies, I mean, without a scintilla of evidence, and most of the lies were championed by you, the media, clearly. I mean, a lot of the things they said, One, they said President Mohammed built hotels in Dubai. They said President Mohammed had luxurious, as we sit today. Not a scintilla of evidence. Yet people believed. I'll give you a classical example, which was instructive. The current minister for Agric, who is by no doubt one of the most corrupt ministers under this administration, they had a press conference in Parliament and they accused Dr. Opuni.
Is there any proof to this with regards to when you say that the...
Oh, but he's corrupt. I mean, look, we were all in this country when they came with planting for food and jobs. And the minister said that they spent about almost 6 million Ghana cedis for publicity. No evidence of any radio station or TV station running adverts on it. No evidence of any paper running. Look, I'll tell you something in the course of this. What they have done under his watch. I mean, the evidences are abound. But I'm saying that he addressed the press conference and accused Opuni for squandering $400 million.
That issue.
I'm coming.
Issues is
no, that's not what I'm mindful. $400 million that he squandered cocoa board money. $400 million. So the expectation of many people was that if Opuni is being prosecuted today, the $400 million should be the basis for the prosecution. It's not anywhere found in the prosecution.